As you may have seen in recent videos, we had some problems with the Maserati. Yes, the Ghibli. It's been away in the shop for quite a while. It's finally back, except it seems to have put on a little bit of weight while it was away. Yes, indeed, folks. It has morphed into a Levante. Looks a lot like the Ghibli, just on steroids or something. I've yet to drive it, so we'll get to that bit later. Meantime, what was up with the Ghibli? Well, I have to tell you, it was quite the comedy of errors, although it wasn't very funny at the time. So let's walk you through that as quickly as possible. It's quite a long story, so do stay tuned. Involving various shops, AAA and other fiascos. Well, it all started on a Monday in March. Yes, I know, it's now May. Coincidentally or not, the car had been in the shop, the local shop, for its service on the preceding Friday. Got in the car, started up to be greeted with a service shifter message all across the dashboard, and couldn't move the shifter from park into anything. In fact, there were no lights on the shifter. It was dysfunctional. I did a little reading online. It is kind of an issue with the Ghibli. The shifter itself is not great and not popular, and it seems that some of the time it can just be a switch, so the brake pedal switch, if that's not functioning properly, the car doesn't think you got your foot on the brake and therefore won't let you shift. So checked copious fuses and they were all okay, so it wasn't that. At which point it was the tedious task of getting it towed somewhere to get it fixed. I checked in with the local boys and they said they'd give it a go, although if it was something serious with the shift situation, it might be proprietary Maserati stuff and it would have to go to the dealership, but they'd take a look first and we could take it from there. So that's what we did. Enter AAA, stage left. After the last fiasco with the Ghibli, which turned out just to be the battery, I had upgraded our AAA membership to cover at least 200 miles of towing. So I gave them a call, explained the situation. I said, you know, we're going to take it to the local shop first. If they can't fix it, can I also get a tow to the main dealer in Phoenix? Very nice lady at AAA agreed that that could be done and made a note on the call-in on my file, whatever, to that effect. And so yeah, off it went to the local shop. That in itself wasn't totally straightforward. Being stuck in park, there is a manual override, a lever by the driver's seat in the floor there to release the car into neutral, but that didn't work either. A week later, it was still stuck at the shop because they couldn't get it into neutral to get it on the ramp. Turns out Maserati thought it was a good idea to route that cable back to the transmission, transaxle, over the catalytic converters. So over the period of 10 plus years, basically melted it and wasn't even connected. Fiasco number 2. Another week later, having sorted that out and got it on the ramp and got all the covers off underneath, they were greeted by a family of rats who had taken residence in the Ghibli and been relocated to Cottonwood from Sedan. Yeah, 3 of them, staring them in the face. Having cleaned out all their stuff, shall we say, nesting materials and other toiletries, it was discovered that they had done considerable damage to a lot of the wiring back there. Oh, I did have an inkling that this could be part of the problem, but it wasn't. Or was it? We'll get to that later. Next up, a new shifter, which Maserati wanted 1,600 for a brand new shifter. So we did a bit of delving around on eBay. Turns out there's a lot of Ghiblis that have been written off one way or another, and picked one up from a functioning transmission for just a couple of $100. So a week later that arrived, along with a new cable to to manually shift it into neutral so that that would also function. Another week later, and they'd fitted the new shifter, and no change. Fiasco number 3. Meanwhile, our relatively new battery had gone dead, and when they went to shut the driver's side door, of course the window didn't drop that crucial, like 10mm whatever, to close properly, and so broke the window. So we had to get a new window. First call to Maserati dealership. Yes, and a week later the window came in to the Maserati dealership. They will not deliver, so it was up to the boys in Cottonwood to go and get it. That never happened. We'll come to that later. Another 2 weeks went by, copious phone calls, back and forth, mainly forth, not much coming back from the shop, and eventually we all decided that perhaps it was time to ship it to Maserati themselves, which I'd been putting off, obviously, because it wasn't going to be cheap. So the Cottonwood shop phoned me at 3 o'clock to say that the car was all kind of put back together and ready to be shipped off to Phoenix. Enter AAA again, stage left. Spoke to a lovely lady, very helpful. She looked up the notes, saw that it was down to potentially be relocated to Phoenix, and agreed that that wasn't a problem. She asked me if I would be with the vehicle when it was collected, and I said I'd rather not be. I'd rather not have to drive over to Cottonwood just to see it picked up and taken to Phoenix. Didn't need to be there. She said that was an exceptional case. She'd have to check with her supervisor, which she duly did, and came back and said that was okay. Great, she said. The driver will be with you in the next 90 minutes. Not going to work. If he got there at 4:30, half an hour faffing around loading it up, 2 hours drive down to Phoenix, we're looking at 7 o'clock. Maserati dealership shut. So I asked if we could just schedule it for the next morning, first thing, 9 o'clock, whatever, 8 o'clock even. No. AAA are an emergency service and can't schedule pickups. I would have to phone back in the morning and do it all again, which I did. Trouble is, the shop in Cottonwood closes at 11 AM on a Friday, so it was a tight window to get it all sorted out. Went through all the rigmarole again, got to the bit about being with the vehicle, said I'd rather not be because I had a client Zoom meeting that morning, and she said she'd have to talk to her supervisor. Her supervisor decided to talk to me. I'm sure you've had the situation where as soon as somebody comes on the phone, the tone and attitude just tells you it's not going to go your way. Yeah, this Jobsworth decided that I had to be with the vehicle, otherwise they wouldn't pick it up. So I had to cancel my Zoom meeting. I had to drive to Cottonwood, half an hour of my life. I had to wait an hour for the guy to turn up. Lovely bloke on the tow track. Helped him put it on the car in the pissing rain. And then half an hour drive back again. So in total, actually, it was about 3 hours of my life down the toilet. Skip forward 1 week, we get a call from Maserati. Relatively good news. The bill was only $500. The car was working again. What could it have been? Any guesses? Yes, a fuse. Do bear in mind and remember that I had checked all the fuses prior to it leaving the premises. So, obviously what had happened when they were repairing the wiring damage from the rats, putting in the new shifter or whatever, they'd blown a fuse. So, another day of my life, driving to Phoenix to pick up the Ghibli and the window. Yes, which still hadn't been fitted, obviously. So, while we were there, we thought we'd make the most of it. We went for a very nice lunch, having visited a high-end used car dealership, and basically traded in the Ghibli for the Levante. They said they'd take care of the window, they'd rather they did it than the clowns in Cottonwood, so that was that. Saga complete. It wasn't exactly a spur-of-the-moment thing, I have to be honest. We'd been talking about it, thinking about it. I'd looked at several videos from reputable YouTubers like Harry's Garage, Doug DeMuro, to name a few, and some new ones I found actually that had actually owned a Levante for a period of time, and they all seemed pretty favourable. comparisons with the likes of Porsche, BMW, Mercedes, it came out pretty good. Pros and cons, obviously, compared to those. But all in all, my wife was able to stick with her favourite brand and get a new car. Well, I say new. Yeah. It's a 2020. It's done 25,000 miles. And it's in immaculate condition. Shall we have a look at it? So from the outside, a lot of similarities with the Ghibli, the grille and basically kind of all the cooling there. Not dissimilar, just a little bit stretched, a little bit bigger. Chrome grille, I think that's an option. Personally wouldn't have gone for it myself, but it's alright. Lights are a little bit different. Alloy wheels, I don't think these ones are standard either. We also have the red brakes. How cool is that? That's worth an extra 10 miles an hour. Statutory vents on the side wing, and they are actually vents, so they do let air out. Folding door mirrors, something else to go wrong. Door handles are very much the same. And while we're there, that rear haunch, that line there, is almost identical to the Ghibli. I'm pretty sure all they did was actually take a side view of a Ghibli, raise it up about a foot, and then make the doors deeper. I think that's what they did. Lights, again, not dissimilar, keeping it in the family. Got one of those annoying trunks that you have to press a button for. You can't actually move it by hand. But all a lot more solid than the Ghibli. The Ghibli was kind of lightweight in a lot of areas, including the trunk. So that's an interesting change. Badge on the rear there. And that beautiful window. Again, not dissimilar to the shape of the Ghibli there. So that's kind of the outside, really. Oh, bigger sunroof. Yeah. That'll let more rain in when my dear wife decides to leave it open. Yeah, some parking sensors, so that'll be annoying. Let's have a look at the interior. Not dissimilar from the Ghibli. Center console looks very similar. Same little push button doofer. Much deeper box for much more junk for my wife, including a new box for more junk up the front. Yeah. Which should close, but so much junk in there already, it doesn't. But you get it. Mock wood, yeah, whatever. So, obvious differences. Gear shift, very different. Park, push button, reverse and drive, and then pull over for the manual, I think, because there's no manual down here. What we have got is the Sport, ICE, off-road, which obviously puts everything into off-road mode. Basically hiring the suspension, etc. And then turn everything off button, which might be fun. We'll try that later. And, I don't know, shock absorber. Yes. Oh, and a knob that we didn't have before, which basically controls that without touching the screen, but more complicatedly. Hazard flashes are down here now. This looks a bit different. I preferred it in the Ghibli, actually. And yeah, suspension setting up and down. Lots of variance on that. That'll be interesting if it ever goes off-road. but generally just a little bit nicer inside. So leather panels on the doors, and I think this might be part of that upgrade package. So these are leather with mock wood veneer and aluminum stuff. Yeah, all together a little bit nicer. Not big fan of the colour, but it kind of goes with the white and the black. And around the dash as well, we've got the same kind of deal going on there. Same switchgear, pretty much. Right, Chrysler, Dodge, dodgy stuff. Still engine stop down there where it shouldn't be. Yeah, a little bit nicer than the Ghibli, honestly, interior wise. And Harman Kardon speakers. So yeah, again, probably just part of some upgrade package. This is all very similar up here. All the same roof stuff. Looks a little bit more complicated. I can open the trunk from here, as opposed to a button in the door in the Ghibli. And what else is up here? What does that do? Dome lights, map reading lights, that kind of stuff. Yeah, obviously more spacious than the back. Plenty of room actually for 5 people. And then the trunk itself, obviously. Let's have a look in there. I hate all this electronic bullshit. Did I say that somewhere else? Well, I don't mind being able to open it from inside. It's closing it's the problem. So yeah, obviously a lot of space for a lot of stuff, right? It's my wife's Maserati pickup. Yeah, I told her she needed a pickup for her business, so this is what she got. Yeah, a lot of trunk room, and there's this funny little flap there, so you can, if you're going to get some 2x4 or whatever, you can poke it all the way through. It's kind of cool, actually. What's not kind of cool is that I can't simply grab this and pull this down and shut the trunk. Well, I probably can, but what I have to do is this bullshit. I have to press this button, and then I get a warning sound and lights flashing everywhere, and it has to do it for me until the battery runs out, in which case I don't know what happens. Like I said, manual. I like manual. Shall we start it up, see what it sounds like? So inside it's quite quiet, same sound from the back as we've discussed, similar kind of dials to the Ghibli and that kind of stuff there. If we turn it back onto sport, for a split second it gives you a little diagram, and I don't know what that A with a slash through it is. Always meant anarchy to me, but I don't know. Perhaps it's anarchy mode. Let's put it back onto normal mode. Center console, much the same. Slightly better. God, what does she listen to? Slightly better display, honestly. S&S is off, apparently. Whatever that means. Still off, but yeah, similar kind of stuff going on here. Climate, blah blah blah, navigation, view map, much the same. Phone, probably should, but not now. And what else? radio. Done that. Media. Done that. Oh yeah, main menu. So here's your main menu. Privacy locked, settings, display units, blah 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 blah. Not a lot going on there. Passenger and driver seat heat, kind of makes sense. Screen off. Controls, don't know what that is. A lot to find out here. Ooh, oh, apparently we've got blind spot assist. Oh dear. Well, actually that's a good thing, honestly. Although visibility out the back is pretty good, especially with yeah, even but having blind spot assistance is not a bad thing. It's terrible in the FJ, actually. There are really big blind spots, so it's not a bad thing. I don't mind that. I don't need a heated wheel, especially in Arizona. It's got the clock. I hope that manually adjusts itself, automatically adjusts itself when you shift time zones like the old one did in the Ghibli. That would be cool. But yeah, actually, all in all, an improvement on the Ghibli, a nicer place to be. A little bit higher up, obviously. Which again, is not a bad thing. The Ghibli was ridiculously low. So in terms of like just curbs and things and going into parking lots and that kind of stuff, you had to do it at literally like 2 miles an hour, otherwise it would scrape the front end. Ludicrously low. It doesn't look it, but it actually is. The ground clearance on it is ridiculous, way worse than my Camaro. Obviously the Stratus is off-road designed ish, so that's not a problem. Meantime, we got a prime delivery. Yeah, good man. More car parts, maybe. So all in all, a good practical revision, if you like, to the Ghibli, and a good SUV, hopefully. We shall find out. Living with the Levante. Shall we take it for a spin? Not been allowed to do that so far. So here's the shift, by the way. So basically take it out of park, or put it into park, you press that. Otherwise there's a little button on the reverse side of it. You pull, and then either you want to go into reverse, in which case that all lights up. It's my driveway. And then if you want to go forward, obviously you pull it that way to drive. Like I said, there's no manual button, so presumably you just pull it this way. There you go. So now we're in manual 1, back into just drive, and then P for park, which automatically puts this on. So I don't know why the hell you need that button at all, but then I don't know why you need that knob either, because it's all under. So tune in next time for my first drive in the Levante. Yes, really, folks, you're gonna have to wait. So if you haven't already, subscribe down here somewhere, and give the video a thumbs up. We'll check it out next time round. And of course, encourage others to watch my lunacy.